Welcome, everybody. That's in. Hello. I'm doing this, and if you're in my classroom, you know that I like to have two screens going so I can look and see what's up with you guys and look in here. So I'm Mrs. Vogel. Welcome. I think we'll probably just give a couple of minutes here so people can jump on. We are recording this in case you have to pop out, or if we can share it with anyone who's missed it so they can see the information that we're sharing.
It could also be so entertaining that you just feel like you want to watch it again.
Well, when we get to the choreographed Zoom dance routine at the end, they're going to love it.
It's true.
Did you rehearse, Mr. Marshall? Thanks everybody for coming on in the evening, right? When it's dark outside. Remember when it was dark when we started in the morning? It would be like the end of first hour when the sun would come in, or the beginning of second hour. You'd be like, ugh. But now it's actually staying light a little bit later.
You have vampire moments.
I'm seeing so many names. I'm excited to see.
Not sparkly vampire moments.
No.
Oh, right. Well, I suppose we can probably get started here. So this meeting is for anybody that has interest in being in the cast or in the crew, just to kind of meet us and learn a little bit more about the show and how it's going to work virtually. How is all of this going to work? So this PowerPoint that we're sharing with you guys, we also can share, we can post in the Google Classroom so you guys can see it. We can also post the video in the Google Classrooms. Of course, the parents don't have direct access to Google Classroom unless our lovely students give them their login, and then you can share with your parents. There's a parent Google form that's going to need to be filled out. So those of you who did fill out like the cast inquiry form were able to put a parent email in. Crew will probably have a form coming to you that includes parent email so that we can stay in contact with the parents as well as the students, because right now we don't actually have access to PowerSchool for you guys that aren't in our classes. So getting the emails addresses from you guys is the way that we can communicate with you and your parents right now. So if you've joined either the Google Classrooms, thank you for doing that. And that's where we're going to put all the information you're going to need for both sides of the show. Okay. So why don't we start just by, we'll introduce ourselves a little bit here. Okay. So this is us, and I'll let everybody say hi. Just a second here. I'll stop sharing my screen so you can see everybody. So I have on one side, it says cast on one side and crew on the other side, but you'll see the people who are in the cast will definitely see people working on the crew in some meetings, and vice versa. The crew will definitely see some people working with the cast. So I'm Mrs. Vogel. I'm the director. And then we also have the musical director, which is Mrs. Burke.
Hello.
Our technical director, which is Mr. Marshall, and our artistic director, Mrs. CB Crosby Burma. Let's see if I'm going to stop so that you guys can see your faces and you guys can say hi. There you are.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi. Hi.
So I teach English and dramatic speech, right? Mrs. Burke is one of our choir teachers. Miss CB is 7th grade art, and Mr. Marshall is 7th grade social studies. So we are your big bad production team. All right. And I'm so used to Google Meet. It's weird to be on Zoom all of a sudden. I'm not used to zooming. Okay, so this slide you might have seen if you haven't yet joined one of the Google Classrooms. Okay, there's separate ones for the cast and the crew. That's where we're going to be doing all our meetings and rehearsals. They're all going to go through the Google Meet in our Google Classrooms. So if you haven't joined those yet, the join codes are down below here. Oops, I covered them up. There it is, one for the cast and one for the crew. Also, those are links to our emails if you had questions you want to email us. And so one of the things I wanted to point out here is this kind of middle paragraph about us doing things virtually this year. You know, we all are pretty familiar with live theater. We know what that's like. We've seen it, you know, we've experienced it. Some of us have been a part of it before, where we get to build sets and perform live in, you know, in the same space as our audience, breathing and spitting all over each other. So
Ew.
is something we cannot do anymore. So a lot of theater has gone virtual. Mr. Marshall and I took some really awesome workshops with Broadway teachers and talked to some, you know, took some classes with some Broadway teachers who are doing things virtually. And we learned a lot about the possibilities that we have. So that's why it does say, even though this show that we're doing is written for the stage, we're going to be blending, right? We're going to be blending this kind of live performance, but we're also going to be recording some live Zooms, having you record some things at home. I hope to do some animation and some graphics. We hope to do some physical art as well as digital art, and really blend as many art forms as possible all together.
We've got ideas, so many ideas.
Our brains are like all over the place. It's I'm a visual person, visual learner. So usually when I'm working on shows, I close my eyes and see the stage, but now I have to close my eyes and see like a Zoom screen when I'm picturing the show. But we've got a lot of really cool we got a new editing program we're excited about. So we will be able to do some of it live, record some stuff live on Zoom, but also, like I said, record pieces that we can kind of edit together. So actually, my undergraduate degree is a film and video degree. So I do have editing experience, as well as my graduate degree being in theater and educational theater. So this is perfect for me. I'm very excited about it. Right? All right, so this is just a little synopsis of the show. You might have read it already. It's the Big Bad Musical. I mean, it's about the Big Bad Wolf. It's a courtroom comedy where the Big Bad Wolf is on trial for all of the, you know, crimes he's committed out in the fairy tale world. So there's lawyers on each side, the fairy godmother and the evil stepmother, the Cinderella evil stepmother. There's like a ridiculous judge who is very silly. Then we have all of these, what are they called? People who you put them on, they come and they're witnesses. That's what they're called, right? So we have like Little Red Riding Hood and Granny and the Woodcutter and the Three Little Pigs and the Boy Who Cried Wolf. And so all of these people that are saying the wolf has done these bad things, and the wolf comes in with this real defeatist attitude, like, why even have a trial? You're going to say, you know, you're thinking I'm guilty before we even start. And so there's also a real interesting question about justice. So there's going to be some fun, I think, conversations we can have. There are also 3 possible endings. So, you know, that's something that we can decide as a cast, which ending do we really want to do? Do we want to do all of them? Do we want to do one of them? What's the message we want to get out there? We also have the possibility, because it's going to look like a TV show, and it's kind of taken from, like, when you read the beginning of the script, it's like, welcome to court TV. So we're going to be able to create commercials. Maybe we are going to create some fairy tale reality show that we think is hilarious, and have actors help write that and create these different commercials we can have throughout. So it's hard to say exactly by looking at this what all of the possibilities are, because nobody's ever done this show like this before. So we get to make a lot of the creative decisions. So that's another thing that's really exciting, is this is definitely going to be a world premiere, right? Nobody's
going to have 2 questions that kind of relate to what you're saying. Nyla asked, will it all be on Zoom because I can't see myself, or if I'm muted or not? So she's pointing out the limitations with a Zoom call. So like you said, we'll be recording, editing, putting together, and then we'll talk about the broadcast. That's a paid broadcast in a bit, so that you can understand that. And then we had another attendee ask, if we are a part of the cast, would we have to come in to do stuff, or no?
Right. Okay. So I think we're going to answer both of those questions as we go. The they kind of are connected too, right? Because right now we're doing everything virtually. That is the plan, right? As you guys know, we keep waiting to hear, is there a date when we're going to go back face to face? Even when we go back face to face for in school, that doesn't necessarily mean we would transition to in-person rehearsals. There is a possibility that we would be able to have some small groups. We also have to see when our theater and our stage would be available and ready. So anybody that wants to participate and stay completely virtual can do that. As the spring goes on and we get more information, we may be able to have some people meet to rehearse or shoot, right, or record in person. We might be able to do recording outside, do some shooting outside when things, when we start doing recording. It will be Google Meet or Zoom that we are doing all of our rehearsals and most of our recording on. So sometimes, like I said, we'll do like a live, like we're gonna be like, okay, ready, action, and we're gonna do some stuff live and record it. And sometimes we'll just record in pieces, or maybe do some recording at home. I think this is brand new and we'll have to figure it out as we go for some of it. So nobody will be required to come in, but as we go, we might find out that we might be able to have some people come in. Also, go ahead, sorry.
I was gonna say, I messed up. Claire, I clicked on the wrong part for the question you asked. You asked if you had to join both classrooms. You only need to join the classroom part that you're interested in. So if you're interested in being in the crew half, where you're making things pretty and functional and the animation and all that jazz, you come to my crew. And if you want to be an actor and take, be on screen, you go with Mrs. Vogel on the cast. And then we did have Josh, give us, it's always okay for it to not be your thing, but give us a try. You never know.
So yes, it is, of course, this is just gathering information. So you can join or leave the Google Classroom. We will start to eventually have, especially for cast, have permission from parents, and we do need to cast the show a week or so from now. So we will need some commitment from the actors in the next week or so as we move through. Okay, so why don't we jump onto the crew bandwagon first, because I saw, can we be in both crews, etc. Okay, and singing, acting, dancing. Hold on, we'll get to the cast part in just a second. So what to expect for crew. So I don't know if Miss CB, if this is good, if you want to, or Mr. Marks.
I can take over for this. Yeah. So for crew, we're really looking at the visual portion of the show. So our part is to make everything look beautiful. And that means that we're going to be running a little bit different. In a normal year, we would be painting physical props and creating a whole stage. This year, we're going to be doing a lot of things digitally. If you look behind Mrs. Vogel, there's an example of a backdrop. That one was painted. We don't know quite yet how much painted, how much digital we'll actually play around with. Also, the animation, having some time to maybe learn or to explore some video editing, some sound editing, and also working with actors. So like we said, the crew is going to interact with the cast. The crew is going to be the ones who develop the tutorials on how to set up your space. The crew is going to be the ones who are setting up the tutorial of, this is how your costume should appear. This is how your makeup should be applied. These are how you treat in and function with your props. So we're really in control of that physical space that the actors are going to inhabit, and also the costumes and makeup and all the fabulousness that they're going to use to get into their parts.
So again, in the event that we become able to meet in person, that's something that we would let you know if you are available to come in and maybe pull costumes or, work a little bit in the building, but we don't know. So like, we are just going to try to prepare to do everything virtually. So you will
I'll throw you guys in a hazmat suit and put you in that prop closet. You'd need one anyways, because it's super dirty.
You that there will be for the there will be some materials pick up and drop off time. So while we wouldn't be just like you would have to do for school, like if you have to come in and pick up your math book or pick up a library book, you would have to come and pick up materials after you've made your plans and everything with Miss CB. So the stuff, and Mr. Marshall, the stuff that you can't do digitally, like if we need you to make something out of paper mache or something and you're going to be doing it at home, what materials do you need from us? So things like costuming and props and all that kind of stuff, and anything that's physical, crew would have a pickup date where they pick up their stuff, they work on it at home, and then a drop off date. And then the actors will have a pickup date to pick the stuff up and then and use it for their performance, and then have a drop off date of when it's all done. So the crew's work, like normal, really is going to have to be done first, right? A lot of the crew stuff will happen sooner in these next month, in February and March, where the actors maybe will have, we'll be having rehearsals, but they'll be shooting and getting to use the stuff made by their crew later in April when we do more of the actual like recording and performances, right? So the work happens remotely at home. So I said most of the crew's work will be done kind of upfront.
And I am open. Somebody asked if they could do both crew and cast. I'm definitely open for cast members to be involved in crew. We might have some overlapping time schedules when it comes to like the live meets, but so much of the crew's work is going to be, I need this thing, follow this step, pick this kit up and make it, that our cast members would be really well suited to be able to take on some of those roles if they are meeting the expectations of their cast responsibilities first and foremost.
And school even above that, right? I mean, school, it's a long time to be on screen. So we don't want our rehearsals and our meetings, we don't want to be 2 hours and 2.5 hours because we're on screens all day. So we're trying to keep them shorter. Miss CB, can you say anything at all? What kind of time commitment would the crew have?
There will be different options for different people depending on what parts of crew they're interested in. So someone who takes on being our production manager will probably be taking a little bit more of a role that will interact with the cast and crew more. But those who do the makeup tutorials, after they get the instruction of what the character is going to look like, that's a little less time. So it is dependent on which projects they choose to tackle.
All right. So the idea is maybe
Mr. Marshall?
Yeah, I was just going to point out the fact that you mentioned that sometimes it is good for for cast members to make some of their own props. Then you have ownership over it and how you want it to look, how it feels in your hand, how you use it. So if there are kits available for you to create things, think of it as an additional thing you've learned through going through this experience.
Thank you. Yeah, there's a lot of theater companies where actors are required to do tech to understand both sides of it. Should we make some of the techies act sometime too?
We have, but we won't. Don't be threatening that. That's always optional to get in front of the stage. I still love Little Mermaid. I get to go out and dance, have my moment.
So there will be likely for crew just like kind of weekly check-ins. I'll also want to check in with Missy B and Mr. Marshall and with some of you, because we do, right, to talk about like this is my vision for the character, my vision for the show, and how can you help make that happen? Because with the actors and the crew, we talk about the whole ensemble. How can the crew support the actors, and how can the actors support what the crew is doing for them? So there will be some check-ins for that. Okay, I think we'll move on to cast unless any other crew questions came up.
No, there was one about how if you don't get the part you want, can you be in crew? I'm flexible for you to come on over if you want to. But again, you gotta get that part, get in that play, be on that screen. Stop.
Usually, right? And let's move on to cast then while we're talking about that. Okay, so what to expect for the cast if you're interested in being in the cast. Okay, so you might have heard a little bit about it already. We are having audition workshops this week. So Wednesday and Thursday after school, but not until 3:05. So you have that kind of break time if you need to meet with any teachers or work on some homework. So at 3:05, you'll come to our cast Google Meet and Google Classroom and join the Google Meet. And for those 2 days, for the 2 afternoons, we'll be playing some games, getting to know each other, doing some warm-ups, but we'll also be teaching you pieces of text and pieces of music that you will then use the next week for individual auditions. So there are audition workshops. And this is something that you guys definitely should know as students, like, you got to have your cameras on for this, right? Your actors. We want to see your faces. This is a cameras on situation. So Mrs. Burke and I will be teaching you stuff on those days. The first day, going through, oh, here's some different monologues and some different games. So the way that the audition process would work is we would give you a few different texts, like short little monologues, and you would then choose one to prepare. Okay. Then on the second day, Mrs. Burke will be able to work with you with the music. Do you want to talk about what it'll be like to learn the music a little bit, Mrs. Burke?
Sure. So the audition piece we're using is basically the finale of the show. It's a chorus number. There's only 2 chorus numbers in the whole show, basically the beginning of the show and the end of the show. And the rest is solos that are for the named characters. So we'll be working on the finale as the audition piece. And I've already created kind of a video that goes along with the sheet music for you. So it has the audio playing in your ear. And for any of you who are familiar with how the virtual choir worked back in the fall, when you actually audition, you'll play it for yourself with one headphone in, one headphone off, and then you'll sing it for us, and it'll be just the teachers in a breakout room listening to you. So there's no pressure, nothing to worry about with any other students hearing you. But we'll work on that music together on Thursday, and it's very short. It's like a minute long. Should be pretty easy.
So that's one of the reasons why those 2 days are super important. We're going to teach you some stuff, and then you will have that 4-day weekend where you can work on your monologue piece and you can work on the vocal piece. You will also be invited, if you wish, to prepare your own piece, singing vocal piece. If you wanted to sing 30 seconds or 16 bars from a song that you feel like your voice sounds really good on, you can do that as well. So
I'd kill it at Happy Birthday.
Yeah, there you go. Happy Birthday is always a choice. I auditioned for something with Happy Birthday once on the day of my birthday. So I sang Happy Birthday to myself. So that's what you're going to prep. So those 2 days are us getting to know you, teaching you what to know. And then the next week, you're going to come, you'll sign up for an audition slot. It'll just be like a big Google Doc. You'll sign up for your time over the 2 days that next week, not this week, but next week on Tuesday and Wednesday. You would come into, like I said, the breakout room with just us and show us what you have been practicing, show off what skills you have. You also are going to get an audition form. It's a Google form. It's actually really long. It's like 30 questions, but with an opportunity to tell us a lot about your experience, your interests, et cetera, where you can give us a lot of information. I know a few people had wondered about, what if I don't really feel like I want to be a singer? Well, like Mrs. Burke said, we have 2 songs in the show that everybody just kind of sings along with, and that's for everybody. Right? So everybody in the show gets to at least sing in those 2 chorus parts, but you can absolutely say on the form that you do not want to sing in a solo. You would like to focus on acting, but those songs are going to have all of the voices together. Right. So if you want to, it's easy to hide in the back of the chorus, I guess, but every voice is important, of course. All right. So then after all of that is over, on Thursday, the 18th, we will have our first rehearsal, and that will be a Google Meet with everybody in it. Typically, if people are wondering about what if they don't get a part, that's not something we like to do here at the junior high. We actually don't cut from our shows. So if you are auditioning, congratulations, you're in the show. Okay. So we want everybody that wants to be in the show to be a part of the show. So there are name characters who are going to have, who have the lines in the script, and there will be chorus and ensemble characters who are part of it and are the ones that get to create the commercials and decide who, we'll work on those together and create the world of these fairy tale characters as well. So everybody that wants to be in the show is absolutely invited to be in the show. Rehearsals will be Monday through Thursday from that 3:05 to 4:30 time. And you won't necessarily be required to come every day. We'll try to do it in maybe some smaller groups to give some screen time breaks throughout. So you'll get a calendar. You can probably expect that first day, February 18th, and the week after that everybody will be coming just to kind of get into the routine and get to know the show and each other and try to build some ensemble together virtually. And then our rehearsals will run all the way through till the end of April. Like we mentioned before, there will probably be a materials pickup day, a materials drop-off day. There'll be times where the crew is creating a Google form so you can do measurements and we can find the right costumes, etc. So you might have a couple of times where there's a pickup or a drop-off date. And the basic plan down here, right, is first we rehearse for a big long time, then we record, and then you guys kind of get to relax while we get to work on editing, and then we'll have our premiere. We will be learning our music first as well, so that we can record the music and then act with the music. So this was a question that had come up as well before. So we will be recording portions of the show live on Google Meet and or Zoom, and then you will probably also be asked to record bits and submit them, sometimes just vocally, like we're just recording music. Sometimes it'll be an acting piece. Sometimes you'll be lip syncing along to, not lip syncing, we don't lip sync, singing along to yourself. Might be little pieces here and there. So you do, and I know Nyla, you had a question about like the internet. So having reliable internet and a working computer or laptop, not a tablet, or, is going to be something that is important, I'm sure. Okay, cast wise, that's a lot of information. What else? What other questions? What do we have for actors?
So somebody asked whether or not they were going to have to audition multiple times for each character. So like if you wanted to be the big bad, but you also thought maybe you wanted to be a pig, do you have to do multiple auditions?
Oh, nope. We actually, everybody, we just kind of look at everybody for all of the parts, right? On the Google form, you can go in and say, these are the parts you're interested in. I think there's a section that says, what else would you like us to know? And you can tell us, these are the parts I'm the most interested in. But really, we try to look at everybody for everything. Treat this really like an ensemble educational kind of theater experience that we are producing together. So you can let us know what parts you are interested in, but right now you don't know a lot about the show yet either, so you'll learn.
And that leads to the next comment where it was, if we end up not wanting to do it, not that anybody would want to not do it, but if you did, it wasn't your thing, is there any penalty for dropping out? No, we're not going to come stalk you. We're not going to like shame finger you, like wave like no, you're fine. This is an extracurricular, something we want you to be passionate about. You might find that you're on crew and after listening to this, you want to be in the cast or vice versa, okay? Or you're going, okay, I need to go join art club.
I will just reiterate that it is much tougher if you drop out after the show has been cast. Yeah. So that's always a little bit trickier because, we have counted on you for a part. We want to make sure that we do have the parent permission, so we know your parents are cool with it, right? With you being in the show. And then after the roles are cast, it becomes a little bit trickier to rearrange things. So if you, after the first couple of audition workshops and maybe you decide you don't want to audition, that's okay. You can absolutely just let us know. That'd be really helpful if you could send an email or something though to let me know, or drop out of the Google Classroom is also available. Once we get going into rehearsals, however, we're gonna push forward. right?
We had another one that was, will we have to dance or sing, or will we be able to just act?
Oh, I think I hit that one, right? I said there are two songs that everybody will sing a little bit of, right? But again, with everybody else, not necessarily solos, and there's a place on the form for you to fill that out. Mrs. Burke, I see something pop up that said you wanted to answer?
They were just the ones you were already answering.
Oh, okay. Thank you so much. And what was it? Oh, there's not a lot of dance opportunity in this, honestly. And so there might be some choreographed, like dancing in and out of the screen or arm movements or something, but there won't be there's not a ton of dance opportunity. There is some, and there's also a place on the Google form for cast for the audition form when you get there on Wednesday. If you're interested in helping with choreography or being a dance captain and help coming up with Zoom choreography, right? So that's also on there too. All right, what else do we have before we move on to parents?
What parts in the musical would you sing it in? Like if you want to be the big bad, but it has a singing part, how would you know what parts have singing and which ones don't? And then it also kind of ties down to what Abby wrote, talking about if you don't get the part you auditioned for that you wanted, would be able to get a different part.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll talk about those things. So to talk about what Abby said, you can tell us what parts you're interested in, but we're considering you for all of the parts, right? And if you remember, everybody's getting a part. Everybody's that wants to be in the show can be in the show. And then we'll put the puzzle pieces together, right? And put all of the cast together and figure out where we think is best for everybody to go and for the ensemble. For the singing roles, there's only 5 or 6 songs in the show. And we can go over it more in the auditions and especially on the music day. But the soloists are the Big Bad Wolf and his Wolfettes that sing with him. The 3 pigs, well, 2 of the pigs are singers. The Fairy Godmother has a really fun song. And The Boy Who Cried Wolf has a song. Then the TV host, the court TV host of the show has a song. And then there's other characters who just sing like little solo lines here and there. And so we can, on our audition days, give you a little bit more information about the music as well. And you'll get to hear that little part of the song. It's the chorus part with everybody singing together. Okay. And Hannah says, if we want to switch, would we unenroll in the Google Classroom? Yeah, like if you decide you don't want to be an actor, unenroll from that Google Classroom and join the crew Google Classroom. Or hey, maybe you sign up for crew and you're thinking maybe you want to do it, acting. Honestly, I got to tell you, I think if you're nervous a little bit about acting, I think virtually is the best way to go at it. Honestly, you're not going to be standing up in front of 300, 500 people, trying to sing a song. You're going to do it at home. You're going to do it the way you're going to be in control of a lot more than you would live on stage, and we can always edit. So I think this could be an opening for some people that might not otherwise. Were you going to say something, Mr. Marshall?
Yeah, I was going to say, you get to do what they call in the business, you get to take another take, get another try at it, which is nice. And you've seen that in movies, on TV shows, kids, I'm sure. And that makes you feel a lot more comfortable when it's not one and done. When you get that opportunity, that wasn't my best. I know I can do better. Let me try it again. And that's what this gives you the opportunity to do.
It's like blending theater and film, right? And TV all together. You'll see down there on this thing that there is a parent permission form for the cast. Okay, and for every cast member in the Google Classroom, there's a Google form already in there that asks you to give your parents' email addresses. And that's how I emailed out the invitation for this, as well as a link to that Google form. So if you're interested in being the cast and have not joined the Google Classroom and filled out that Google form yet, please do so that I can have access to your parents' email address to get them the permission form. Okay.
And Cruise is coming very soon. It's not posted because I didn't want to get people confused as to I did one or did the other. So we're pausing. Cruise is coming closer to our first meet.
All right. I will also, I can also email out this slideshow and a link to this video. So getting your parents' email addresses is important. Okay, so parents, I think we probably hit most everything that you are going to need to know, right? We're going to be after school for an hour to an hour and a half. Not necessarily every day, February, March, and April. There will be some required pickup and drop off dates, but no required in-person meetings. Okay, so that's important. So as a cast member, I want you to know that if you're somebody who's like, I want to be in the show and I want this, you know, I want to be able to have like this really great part, but I can never meet in person. It's okay. We're planning everything virtually no matter what. If it changes later, like that's not going to come into consideration for casting, whether or not you're able to meet in person. Everybody gets to do it virtually. Okay. It is going to be important, like I said, to have a working device, good Wi-Fi. And when it's time for recording, like on a day when we're shooting, you're going to need to be able to find a space that doesn't have little brother or sister, you know, shouting in the background, like a nice, quiet, kind of distraction-free area, you know, for you to record your pieces. So it's not as important on rehearsal days, but on recording days, you want to be able to find a good spot with, you know, good Wi-Fi and a good focused area for you. Okay. There may be some parent volunteer opportunities in the future. Sewing is always a big thing. We love that. Maybe making some props, publicity program as we get farther on, because we don't really get to have parties or anything like that. So we're going to have to do all our celebrating virtually. And then just that last little bit about if in the event of in-person becoming a possibility, we will then get in touch with you about that. Mr. Marshall, you want to talk about this little part over here about, well, how are we going to see this show that we're working on?
So we're working with a new platform. All this is new to pretty much everyone across the country. We never have been in situations where we can't really do it live. So we're going to partner with a company called BookTix, booktix.com live, in which they will create a platform in which they will be our streaming, as well as they also will allow you to purchase tickets to see it. They also will put our program up where you can see the credits of your students and what roles they played in terms of cast as well as crew, as well as if you'd like to take out ads, we always welcome that in funding. That was not a shameful plug. And also, we also have opportunities for if you have someone that would like to donate to keep the program up and running, it also lends itself to that as well. Do you want to click the video? It's very short, and open it, and hopefully it plays okay for everyone. It's not too laggy. If you go down to the page, you can kind of see how this will work, at least the ideals by how this is said to work.
Get ready for BookTix Live. BookTix Live is the new platform to live stream your show over the internet easily, inexpensively, and efficiently so the show can go on. Built with all of the same ingenuity and power we applied to our ticketing system, BookTix Live is the platform you can rely on. Here's how it works. Your patrons purchase their StreamPass tickets just as they would a traditional ticket. They receive an email with a direct link to the BookTix Live player where their single-use StreamPass code allows them to safely and securely access your show with just...
Okay, that's really laggy. If you want to stop it for a second, I can kind of give you an overview to kind of remember it. So how it kind of works is just like you attending a Zoom webinar, like kind of how you did today. You purchase your ticket, you'll receive an email. It will have a link attached to the appropriate time to begin viewing the show. Because the show will also be taped and edited, I believe there'll also be some opportunities to view it even not in live action. And that will make it also a nice platform for parents to see with your hard work that your students have put into the production.
So it's like purchasing a virtual ticket, and you'll be able to see the show, right?
And it also will allow you to, it's the streaming platform. So what that means is that's how you will view the show as well.
And on there, it does say our goal for that is May 7th. Hopefully we won't have too many editing issues, and we'll be able to have a premiere kind of like right before Mother's Day. Maybe we'll come up with some fun red carpet event we can do or something like that for our big world premiere. All right, we are just about to the end here. I think we are probably just to questions. I just lost my slideshow when I clicked the video. Okay, sorry. Let's see if I can get my slideshow back. There we go. Right, so that was the parents page. Yep, so these are just the dates that we were kind of talking about. For down here, you see the first meeting for the Big Bad Crew is not until Monday, February 22nd. So plenty of time to just sign up for that Google Classroom and see what kind of updates Miss CV or Mr. Marshall post. And then today, right now, is our Big Bad informational meeting. Then Wednesday and Thursday, we'll expect to see kids looking to audition after school in the Google Meet. Then next week, you'll have your sign up time. We'll have you sign up, this week, so you know when you're gonna come in to do your, 10-minute, 5-10-minute audition time. And then you guys can already prepare if you are planning to go all the way through with the audition. Our first rehearsal, Thursday, February 18th from 3:05 to 4:30 in the Big Bad Google Classroom cast page. All right, and then, so that is the end of our presentation for you. So we've been answering questions as we go, but this is an opportunity now for any other questions you have that have come up that you'd like answers to now. We can try to answer those for you, or of course you can always email us.
So we have, how much does advertising cost?
Good question. There are levels to advertising. We usually in the past have had to do it according to the amount of space that is in our program. I'll have to probably reassess how that works, since the advertisement will be coming through the new streaming platform, as opposed to it being a business card size, of half a page, a full page ad in a normal print program. I know that wasn't an answer, but that's where we are right now.
We'll let you know.
Based on size, right? I think it was anywhere from $15 to $100, to put in an ad based on size. And that's across the district, same with the high school programs, et cetera. So we'll just need to check in with them and see, hey, what are we supposed to do this way, guys? What we do now? Kind of like everything we're doing, right?
2 more questions. Interested in a list of people in the play, so a list of characters, and also interested in when they would get access to scripts.
All right, we do not have a character cast list or anything posted because everyone is going to be involved. We still have some roles to create. So there is like the list of people that you heard me say, those fairy tale characters, and then some more, there's a few more than that. And then we are going to fill out the rest of the cast with more fairy tale characters. So along with the list you've already heard, we got more creation to do. Access to the script, there's going to be 2 ways to do that. There will be digital access, but there will also be an actual script that you'll get to come and pick up. Okay, so we'll have a materials pickup so that you can get an actual script to highlight lines and follow along and all of that, but then it will also be available to you digitally. The vocal score will be available digitally also. We'll put all of this stuff on Google Classroom. You'll have the script, you'll have all of the music tracks with vocals as well as instrumental. So you can practice and you can sing along, or you can practice singing without the vocals, without the guide vocals. So we will probably, that first rehearsal on Thursday, February 18th will be, the day where you start to get access to a bunch of stuff. We don't always give out roles and everything in that first rehearsal. Sometimes we're still trying to figure it all out with you guys. One thing that is kind of cool is that we have definitely had snow days in the middle of auditions before and had to like postpone and be like, well, everybody's got a part, so everybody just come to rehearsal. And we didn't cast for days. So we want everybody to be involved that wants to, and we'll find the right place for everybody. Okay. Yeah, so when will we get the script? When we get the script, you'll be able to do a pickup date after after the casting is all taken care of, and then the virtual script that will also be available digital on Google Classroom. Right. Well, all right. That was that has been what is it? It's been about 45 minutes here, so we have a little bit of time before. There's also a board meeting at 7, so we are very busy tonight. So join the Google Classrooms. Email us with questions. We'd love for you to participate. It also gives you something to do, right? We haven't been able to do a lot other than sit and stare at each other all day on screens, and we're gonna have some fun with this. We're gonna create and be virtually together and be as artistic and performative as we can. So thank you everybody for attending, and hopefully you got your questions answered, and we'll see the actors this Wednesday at 3:05.
And crew February 22nd.
All right, bye everybody. Thanks for coming.